Hello, everyone. We are going to get started with our program now. Thank you all so much for joining us. Good evening. My name is Tom Ancona. I'm so glad you could join us tonight, both in person and virtually. We do have a live stream of the program running as well. I am the McKean Center advisor to the Common Good Grant Program. This ceremony is always so special to me, but this year is especially meaningful as our students, speakers, donors, and awardees have worked through so much to get us to tonight's celebration. And we're so happy to have those of you here in person. This is the first time we've had more than a part of our committee in person for this ceremony in 3 years. I believe strongly in the mission of this program, both for the direct good that it does in our local communities and also for the exceptional experience it provides our students. It is wonderful to see so many of you with us in Main Lounge here tonight and have Bowdoin logs at our award ceremony again. So thank you for enjoying those as well. That said, one of the silver linings of our challenging past couple of years is that we're also able to welcome so many virtually who can't join us either locally or our donors who are all around the country and all around the world. So welcome to all of you also. I only wish we could also send you the dessert that we have here too. We haven't figured that one out yet. Before we get started, I would like to take an opportunity to thank a few people. First, thank you to Bowdoin Dining for providing us with this great dessert spread tonight. Thanks to all our program supporters, both donors and speakers. You make this program an incredible and inspirational educational experience for our students, and you provide them with the means to grant out funds to such wonderful and amazing community organizations. A benefit to this year's hybrid, virtual, and in-person program was that our committee also got to meet so many incredible people from around the country and around the world through our seminars as well. Thank you also to this year's Common Good Grant Committee for the tremendous work that you put in this year. In a year when our college and world were shifting so rapidly, this group of students has met weekly to learn about nonprofits and philanthropy and do incredible work. They reviewed 48 letters of intent, read 27 full grant applications, conducted 15 site visits, and funded 13 incredible organizations. They also met with over 36 donors. I'm exhausted even listing all of this off. They were incredibly thoughtful and passionate throughout the program, and I would be extraordinarily lucky if I got to work with all of them again in next year's program. So hopefully many of you do it again next year. Thank you to all of our students. Last, and certainly not least, I want to thank Jess and Elise, our chairs, our leaders this year, for being amazing Common Good Grant leaders throughout this entire year. Without their thoughtful hard work, this program would not be what it is. This year may have been more challenging than even the last couple of years, because so often they had to make last minute changes to the program and switch whether we had to be in person or virtual. And throughout this entire year, their calm, their cheer, and their determined leadership gave us a wonderful program. They have been incredible stewards of Common Good Grant and among the greatest in a long line of esteemed student leaders. Thank you both, and I will really miss working with you next year. All right, with all of that, I'm going to be handing over the program to Elise and Jess and the student committee. But before I do, can I get a warm round of applause for everybody that we just thanked?
Welcome again, and thank you all for coming to the Common Good Grant Award ceremony this evening. We're so happy to be here with you and to celebrate the work of this amazing program. My name is Elise Hawking. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a senior majoring in Asian Studies and minoring in Government and Legal Studies, and I'm one of the co-leaders of the Common Good Grant program.
My name is Jessica Bay. I use she, her pronouns. I'm an anthropology major and a computer science minor. I'm the other co-leader of Common Good Grant. Common Good Grant was established in 2001 by a generous alum. The donation provides $10,000 annually, which initially served as the pool of money from which grants were allocated. Due to the early success of the program, committee members received a high volume of applications from worthy organizations each year. Unfortunately, the committee lacked the funds to support many of these organizations in their efforts. As a result, the development committee was added to the program in 2004. In addition to gaining valuable experience in fundraising and donor cultivation, the development committee has had a huge impact in expanding the scope of the program by raising additional funds to supplement our $10,000 yearly base. The program has since been incredibly successful, funding a total of 182 grants and awarding over $378,000 to nonprofits in the greater Brunswick area. The Common Good Grant program has not only given Bowdoin students the opportunity to gain experience with grant writing, fundraising, and nonprofit operations, but has also allowed them to connect with their community and with each other. Through sitting in on panels about current issues in Midcoast, Maine, to conducting site visits for organizations, we have been lucky enough to get to know this community. Common Good Grant in recent years has created categories for grant applications to ensure that the committee has a diverse portfolio for organizations funded. Prior to this year, our categories were arts, history, and culture, health and basic needs, adult and youth education and development, environment, agriculture and sustainability, and justice, equity, and anti-racism. This year, we added additional funding commitments to strengthen our support for BIPOC-led organizations in Maine. We committed to funding at least 2 BIPOC organizations, one of which would be Indigenous-led.
As our committee members will discuss in their speeches, we had a large number of letters of intent submitted and a record amount of money to allocate this year, thanks to the generosity of our many donors and the hard work of our committee members. We also had a record number of student applications for the committee, and we'd love to thank the McKean Center for continuing to support this program for our students and also for the larger community. We'd like to thank Tom for being a wonderful advisor, supporter, and collaborator throughout the year. We'd also like to thank the committee members for their weekly dedication to the Common Good Grant program. Committee members showed up every Wednesday night, ready to discuss our work or engage with our speakers. Thank you so much. We'd also like to thank all of the generous speakers who came to our sessions throughout the year to teach, advise, and mentor us. We learned about nonprofits, grant writing, development, philanthropy, and received great advice about working in the nonprofit sector. Thank you for dedicating your time. We'd also like to thank our incredibly generous donors. We raised a record amount of money this year, which allowed us to give out 13 grants to organizations committed to serving our community. Your generosity is advancing the common good within the greater Brunswick area. Thank you. Jess and I met during our first year at Bowdoin through Common Good Grant. Common Good Grant and our summer McKean Center fellowships led us to become close friends. It has been wonderful to serve as the Common Good Grant leaders this year during our senior year and facilitate this valuable program for other students. Leading Common Good Grant has been an amazing and rewarding experience, and we are so grateful to share this culmination with you all in this 2022 award ceremony. Next, Hayden is going to provide insight into the work of our grant committee.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Hayden Redelman. I'm a sophomore majoring in government and English. It is so great to welcome you all to campus and virtually to celebrate and reflect on the committee's work this year. We received letters of intent from 48 organizations, which was a new program record. The committee met in December and invited 27 organizations to submit full grant proposals. In March, 15 organizations were selected as finalists. The committee was excited that loosened COVID safety precautions made in-person site visits a possibility this year. It is always great to connect more personally with organizations serving the Brunswick community. Seeing the passion for the mission and projects of the various organizations applying for grants is always a highlight of the program for me, as I'm sure it is for so many other committee members. Additionally, Common Good Grant was able to continue to work towards becoming more equitable and aware of racial disparities in the nonprofit world. In addition to our traditional funding buckets, we added a commitment to fund at least 2 BIPOC-led organizations, one of which being Indigenous-led. This commitment is representative of the McKean Center continued dialogue with affinity groups on campus and the values of the committee. Ultimately, we were able to fund 13 organizations this year: Down East Institute, Home to Home, Hurricane Island, In Her Presence, Maine Boys to Men, Maine Community Integration, Maine Youth Court, Mid-Coast Youth Center, New England Arab American Organization, Oasis Clinic, and Sexual Support Services of Mid-Coast Maine. We're also grateful for the organizations who engaged with the Common Good Grant this year. Your involvement helps create a meaningful educational experience about nonprofit work while allowing us to further explore the community that we all come to call home. We eagerly await to see the amazing work these organizations will complete. I'll now pass it off to Ryan to talk about some of the work of the Development Committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Hayden. My name is Ryan No, and I am a first-year student from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I'm looking to study neuroscience and sociology. I will now speak on the work of the Development Committee this year. On the development side, our primary mission is to connect with donors over our shared mission of contributing to the greater good within the Mid-Coast Maine community. Beginning with our over $10,000 annual grant base, our generous donors help us make an even greater positive impact on the local organizations by supplementing our grant funding. Through engaging in grant development, committee members gain valuable interactive experiences in fundraising. It is here that we are exposed to both the challenging and enjoyable aspects of asking for donations and fundraising, and ultimately get to practice reaching out to the donors, or as our past alumni have called it, the art of the ask. Through an expansive and benevolent network of Common Good Grant alumni, local members of the community, and longtime donors, we solicit donations and learn about each donor's stories and motivations for giving back. We meet with donors throughout the winter and early spring with the goal of providing the committee with the greatest possible funding when funding capacity by decision day. One of the most impactful parts of being on the development committee is learning about the art of the ask. This year, a number of our committee members were fortunate enough to get the opportunity to speak with donors in person, bringing back a sense of normalcy which existed before the pandemic. The core mission of the development committee is centered around holding meaningful conversations with these donors, hearing their stories, and gaining wisdom from them. While it is true that the culminating moment is popping the question and asking for the donation, I personally find that to be such a small part of what makes the development committee so meaningful. And I know my peers on the committee will agree. It is through conversing with the donor, learning about their passions for philanthropy, and sharing the impact that their contribution will have on the Mid-Coast Maine community, and developing a connection with them that truly gives us joy. After many great conversations with donors and generous anonymous donations, we were able to award over $34,000 to 13 amazing nonprofit organizations. This is by far the largest amount we've given out in program history, and for that, we are eternally grateful for the generosity and impact of our donors. These grants will have a profound impact on these organizations and the Mid-Coast community for this year and many years to come. At this time, I'd now like to thank our donors who graciously offered their time to speak with us and contribute to this great program. Mr. Tom Ancona, Lydia Bell, Steve and Susan Belrose, Megan Belrose, Zenzel Best, Margaret Broadus, Caitlin Callahan, James and Winnie Chan, Sam Chappell Sokol, Doug Collins, Dr. Shelby Davies, Ryan Davis, Jeannie Davis, Vin and Cheryl DeCara, Rich and Ann Fudge, Hugh and Siri Hardcastle, Felicia Hyder, Matthew Henry, Michael Johnson, Chris Knight, Ed Jr. and Nancy Langbine, Jordan Lance, Patrick and Danville Laviere, Audrey Leland, Cal and Sally McKenzie, Chanel Matthews, Sean Morris, Mark Newman, and Dr. Carrie Person, Mitsuki Nishimoto, Justin J. Pearson, Steve Peck, Chris Pierce, Mike Rainen, Sarah Richards, Alexander Sadler, Sarah Seams, David Sperber, Marina Stam, Ryan Tellingater, David and Tina Treadwell, and Rachel Turkle. Thank you so much to all of our donors. The funds you have all contributed this year will make a significant impact to the organizations that have received tonight's grants. I'd now like to invite Alex to speak next.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Alex, and I'm first year planning to major in biochemistry or psychology. I use he, him pronouns, and I am super excited to be here and to share a few of the experiences I have gained on my time on the Common Good Grant Committee. So the battle against COVID has undoubtedly been a tough time for everyone, but it's important to remember the progress that we've made and the work we have left to do. Due to the pandemic, last year's Common Good Grant Committee had to meet virtually, which I've been told came with its pros and cons. Nevertheless, this year, we were able to bring everyone back onto campus and to meet in the McKean Center on most Wednesday nights. While many students were either finishing dinner or doing homework, we were reviewing grants, but it was pretty fun. For the past 6 years or so, I've worked very closely with a nonprofit that focused on homelessness, and I worked as an after-school tutor and grant writer. Being involved in nonprofits has been something that's always been a part of my life. So as a first year, when I came to Bowdoin, I found myself wondering how I can make an impact on the community around me. I was fortunate enough to come across the Common Good Grant, which has given my life a sense of structure in a time filled with outbreaks and uncertainty. Common Good Grant was a place where I could feel comfortable learning from nonprofit organizations as well as my fellow peers. It's a place where I've been able to talk to other students who are passionate about giving back to the community. Through reading all the grants we received, I became invested in the problems that certain communities faced, and I was also amazed by the creative programs that people came up with to solve them. Everyone, thank you so much for coming here today to celebrate all of the tremendous work you have done and you will accomplish for the future. I will now hand it off to Aiden, who will talk about the Down East Institute.
Hi, everyone. I'm Aiden. I use he, him pronouns. I'm a sophomore at the college studying government and urban studies, and I'm so excited to award the Down East Institute on behalf of the committee tonight. So a little bit about the Down East Institute. The mission of DEI is to improve the quality of life for the people of Down East and coastal Maine through marine research, marine science education, and innovations in wild and cultured fisheries. Located in Washington County, the organization works all along the coast of Maine. With the support of the Common Good Grant this year, DEI hopes to plan and execute a clam predator protection project in the community of Sapayak. Home to members of the Passamaquoddy tribe, Sapayak represents a community in the midst of a changing climate. According to DEI, the desired outcomes are to 1, apply existing local ecological environmental information and transfer tools and methods to the Sapayak community. 2, continue to build relationships in an attempt to increase local clam harvests. 3, increase education about clam biology and intertidal ecology, especially among elementary students in the area. And 4, increase rates of clam survival and will provide food to the Sapayak community. Now we are thrilled to have DEI here tonight, and we're incredibly impressed by the detailed nature of their application, and would love to invite Sarah Randall up to accept our award and share a few words.
Well, you've basically done a really great job of explaining everything that I was going to do in my speech. So, but I'm just really thrilled to be one of the recipients. This is our first year, and we are located on Beale, which is about 4 hours in Washington away from here by land. And but each year, when there's not a pandemic, we welcome the Bowdoin College students up to our facility, and show them how we are raising 8 to 9 different shellfish species, and some of our science education programming as well. And we're really excited to receive this award, and very thankful to the donors of the Common Good Grant for providing this funding. That's really going to go a long way, helping us transfer the data that we've been collecting in this community of Sapayak for 2 years, trying to find, which tells us how the productivity of their clam flats are, so we can figure out what place to protect the clams at. And so this is really going to be fun work, and thank you again.
You also have your award right here. And next we'll have Leilu with Home to Home.
Hi, everyone. My name is Layla Cariello. I'm a senior here at Bowdoin and I use she, her pronouns. I'm studying biology and sociology. And tonight I have the immense honor of presenting Home to Home with a grant this year. Founded in 1996, Home to Home is a 100% scholarship organization that has been present in the Midcoast community for 25 years. They make supervised visitation accessible for all Maine families, providing opportunities for children to have a positive, safe, conflict-free access to their non-custodial parents during periods of transition and helping to protect families that may be caught in domestic abuse cycles. In order to remove any barriers for low-income families, Home to Home has recently developed a new travel scholarship that aims to cover a significant portion of the transportation costs for any parent that is unable to secure or afford transportation themselves. Through this, the service fee for transportation has been cut nearly 80% and visitation costs have been cut up to 85%. The scholarship is provided to as many families as possible. Due to their amazing mission, Home to Home was even approached by the Maine State Judicial Branch to expand their site locations. This grant will be used towards their two-tier supervised scholarship program, helping to cover the cost of both transportation as well as the visitation program. This fund will also help the anticipated expansion into the Androscoggin County and allow for visitation to become even more equitable. I am pleased to present this award to Home and invite Mary Robinson to say a few words. Thank you again.
Thank you, everyone. I'm Mary Robinson, and I've been with Home to Home since 2012 when they started offering supervised visitations. And since that time, we've done over 1,500 visitations to parents who have lost custody of their children, as mentioned. And in most cases, it is because of domestic abuse situations, but it could also be substance abuse, alcohol abuse, mental health problems, or medical problems. And we are very fortunate to be able to offer our services and offer these visitations at the lowest rate in the state of Maine. And that is thanks to the scholarship program and thanks to the donors for the program to make this possible. We take a deficit, there's a deficit on every visitation that we offer. And it depends on what the economic status is of the clients or what rate that they're paying at. It's a two-tier system. And but we have people that come from long distances because our rate is so low. And that's a real positive thing that we can offer these services that they can get nowhere else at this rate. So thank you for that. But we have some people that have problems getting to Midcoast Hospital where we offer our visitations. And that's a challenging situation. So to try to eradicate that problem and barrier for them, we are initiating a program, transportation assistance that was mentioned, and we're going to be giving $50 per month to each client. And it would be to help them pay for a gas card, taxi, or bus pass. And we anticipate this is going to be even more helpful when we expand into Androscoggin County based in St. Mary's Hospital. We anticipate that the transportation needs there might be even more significant than what we are experiencing here. I have a client right now, though, that is actually living in a tent, and she takes a taxi from the campground to get to Midcoast Hospital. So she was very appreciative of this program, and we're very glad that we can offer that, because without that, she would not be able to be seeing her 8-year-old son. I'd like to wrap up with some words that I've heard many times over my years with Home to Home. At the end of visits, many times some parents say to their children, oh my gosh, where did the time go? I can't believe it's over and I've had so much fun with you. I miss you already. This is always the best part of my whole week, and that's because I'm with you, who's the most important person in my life. And I can't wait until we're together again next week. I love you so much. Home to Home is gratified to be able to provide this service to the people in need. And I want to thank Bowdoin to provide the extra services and support that we can do to continue our service. Thank you.
Thank you again, Mary. And now I would like to welcome Jamie to present our next award.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jamie Lau. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a senior at Bowdoin studying biology and English. I wanted to start by thanking our donors, recipients, and Common Good Grant leaders for maintaining their commitment to the Midcoast community during a challenging time this past year. I have the honor of presenting the Hurricane Island Center for Science and Leadership with a grant. The organization supports access to environmental education for students at the Nobleboro School and empowers students to become future leaders, researchers, and agents of social and environmental change. Established in 2009, Hurricane Island Center for Science and Leadership has grown tremendously over the past 13 years and is now able to enroll up to 24 students per session, allowing for customized, immersive, hands-on fieldwork for students to explore their own strengths as transformative leaders in environmental sustainability. The grant this year will be used to provide financial assistance to several students hoping to enroll in these scientifically rich and personally transformative summer programs. A representative from the Hurricane Island Center could not join us in person this evening, but Tara Elliott sent this message on behalf of the organization. The staff and board of Hurricane Island are so sad to not be present this evening, but are honored to accept this Common Good Grant. These funds will give middle school students at the Nobleboro Central School a meaningful journey to Hurricane Island to learn about science and ecology through the lens of community resilience and sustainability. These students and their teachers are delighted and grateful for your support, and we at Hurricane Island are thrilled to deepen our connection with the Bowdoin community through this opportunity. Thank you for believing in the power of place-based education to shape today's learners as tomorrow's agents of change. Congratulations once again to Hurricane Island Center on this award. I would like to invite Carla to present the next award.
Hi, everyone. My name is Carla. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a sophomore this year, majoring in Latin American Studies as well as psychology. This evening, I have the privilege of presenting Inner Presence with the Common Good Grant and getting to share a little bit of the organization with you all. What I love about Inner Presence is that it is an organization created by women and for women from immigrant communities in Maine. To give some background, the organization started in 2015 with a group of 12 women fostering community and stress relief through yoga classes at Portland Parkside Neighborhood Center. Now the organization impacts over 500 women and families through its mission of empowering immigrant women and girls to achieve their career goals and ensure financial security. With their current programs such as English language classes, career development classes, storytelling workshops, and networking programs, the organization helps integrate and provide success. Through this Common Good Grant, a job-targeted language training and tutoring program will be developed, providing customized and site-specific teaching. It will pair low-level English speakers with immigrant tutors who share the same native language and have achieved high levels of English. This program will not only provide language lessons that aim to fasten acquisition, but it will also offer a mentoring system that gives motivation and support. Inner Presence is a wonderful organization that will continue to create a space, community of inclusion and empowerment. We are proud and honored to be able to support this organization through our grant. A representative from Inner Presence could not join us today in person, but Claudette Nandhazi sent this message on behalf of the organization. Inner Presence is so very grateful that Bowdoin College has taken a vanguard role in supporting Inner Presence for developing job-targeted language training and tutoring. Such a customized site-specific teaching approach will result in faster language acquisition than traditional generalized training. We look forward to continuing our partnership with you and to jointly address the needs of immigrants and the need of Maine employers in a manner that creates a win-win situation for all. Congratulations to Inner Presence on their award. Here it is. I would now like to introduce Jackson to present the next award. I'll just leave it here. Okay.
Hi, everyone. How's it going? My name is Jackson Coyle. I'm a junior here from Boise, Idaho, studying computer science and economics. I feel very fortunate tonight to provide or to offer Maine Boys and Men one of our grants tonight. Maine Boys to Men seeks to end all forms of male violence and self-harm while advancing gender equality. They look to destigmatize mental health and support the development of self-aware, empathetic boys and men. They are the only organization in Maine that provides specific violence prevention programming that targets men and boys. They seek to reduce violence by empowering youth and recognize and call out traditional masculinity aspects that contribute to violence, self-harm, disrespectful behavior, and academic decline amongst boys. Through their interactive curriculum, students learn specific skills and strategies to challenge negative attitudes and behaviors while limiting the occurrence of harassment, dating violence, sexual assault, and self-harm in their schools, families, communities, and future interactions. Our grant this year will help Maine Boys to Men expand to our very own community of Brunswick, Maine. This funding will provide their nationally recognized Reducing Sexism and Violence program to Brunswick area schools in hopes of facilitating conversations that will both provide students and adults with specific strategies for upstander intervention and violence prevention. We are beyond excited to support this organization this year in its goal of reducing male violence and self-harm. Please welcome Danny Mayha to say a few words about Maine Boys to Men.
Hey everybody, how's it going? These intros are really thorough, so I'll try to say some new things. But my name is Danny Mejia. I use he, him pronouns. I'm the program director at Maine Boys to Men, also Bowdoin class of 2017, so it's really great to be back here. And I first got involved with Maine Boys to Men in my senior summer with an internship through the McKean Center. So it's really awesome to be back. I've been working there for about 5 years and now serve in the role of program director. When we're talking about male violence in our culture, we understand that over 90% of violence done towards other people is being committed by somebody who identifies as male. And we also understand that over 80% of those that die by suicide are men or identify as male. So we have an issue in our culture with men doing violence towards others, but also doing violence towards themselves. So our curriculums and our content, we work with middle school age boys, high school folks of all genders. We work with educators and coaches, youth serving adults of all kinds. We work with fathers, and we work with immigrant and refugee men in the greater Portland area. And around topics of gender stereotypes, empathy, consent, and ultimately upstander intervention to create safer communities for all. So thank you all for the donors for contributing to this and for all the folks at Bowdoin for making this a possibility. Thank you.
I'd now like to invite Tej to say a few words.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tej Dingra, and I'm a first year from Dallas, Texas, studying math and economics, and I go by he, him pronouns. I feel very fortunate tonight to be able to award a grant to Maine Community Integration. Maine Community Integration helps new Mainer girls and their families settle into the new communities across Androscoggin County, while also respecting and preserving the cultural diversity and the richness that these families bring. Powered by volunteers, Maine Community Integration offers a variety of programs that bridge migrant families and the local community that create real societal change. These programs, the impact these programs have range from broadening gender equity in the STEM fields, decreasing the risk of substance abuse, and educating new Mainers about human trafficking. Our grant this year will help Maine Community Integration launch their Gatekeeper Training Program, which will take a specialized approach to help new Mainer parents better support and understand suicide prevention. This funding will also allow 2 to 3 gatekeepers to be trained during each quarter of the upcoming year, as well as allow 3 to 4 members of Androscoggin County to be able to be served each month. So the entire committee is extremely excited to support Maine Community Integration in this mission. And please welcome Faustin Muse to accept this grant on behalf of Maine Community Integration.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, and thank you for all the donors, and thank you for the students who visit us. You can't hear me because I have no teeth. I get lupus, and I had my tooth removed last year, so I'm working on getting used to the dentures. So I wear half mask even though I'm fully vaccinated. Okay. So I'm Fauzia. We work with Mainer young girls, and we use something called the 2-generation approach. So we work with the parent, women, mother especially, and also the girls from 3rd grade to college. The people we work with are money from refugees and immigrants, particularly from Somalia. So we have children who are suffering from historical trauma, war trauma, camp bonded trauma. And we also have a community that's doing a lot of trauma bonding. So last year, we have seen our first fully successful suicides in the immigrant community. I am also 3-time survivor myself of attempting, and my own household. I have several children who attempted. So suicide and mental illness is something that we do not talk about in the immigrant community, particularly the Muslim community, which I'm from. It's a stigma, and so we are trying to destigmatize that by creating the gatekeeper training. We adopt this model from the World Health Organization, so it's not our own, we're just replicating the model. We'll be working with the Islamic centers, the immigrant-led African churches, and also the parent. So we'll create sort of like a triangle training where you train the parent, the community leaders, and also the young people themselves. So the idea is to create awareness. People can understand the signs and symptoms, so whether somebody talks about it or not. And so that's it. We're excited. And this is the first program that actually funded this. I don't know why everybody else rejected this idea. So I was so happy for that. And thank you very much. Thank you, Alex. And Charlotte, I don't know if she's here tonight. Her face is not.
So I would now like to invite Sophia up to present our next award to Youth-Led Justice.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sophia. I am a current sophomore studying English, Asian Studies with a minor in economics, and I use she, her pronouns. I'm very excited to present Youth-Led Justice, formerly known as the Maine Youth Corps, with a grant tonight. Youth-Led Justice is a youth-led restorative justice program that diverts and supports youth aged 11 to 18 who are in trouble with the law, school, or their communities. Student volunteers will facilitate conversations between affected parties to help youth respondents avoid incarceration and other life-changing punishments. These youth respondents, or youth in need, disproportionately identify as BIPOC and or asylum-seeking youth, and many struggle with mental health issues. One of Youth-Led Justice's strengths is tailoring their aid efforts to the needs of the individuals served, such as providing legal representation for non-citizen youth. Ultimately, their 3 to 6 month restorative process mends relationships between youth in need and their communities, creating healthy, strong, and more connected neighborhoods. The organization values both formal and informal systems of support, and our committee was really inspired to see how central peer advocacy is in Youth-Led Justice's mission. Through their training and service, student volunteers are able to both share their insights and expand their perspectives on equity and restorative practices.
youth-led justice envisions youth belonging to resilient communities that empower them. And we at Common Good Grant are very excited to support the organization in achieving this important goal. Youth-led justice has helped over 700 youth since 2012 and noticeably decreased youth recidivism in the Southern Maine area. This grant will go towards supporting a total of 170 individuals over the grant term, including the cost of training youth volunteers and connecting respondents to clinical services. So we look forward to seeing youth-led justice create more systems of support, as well as train Maine's next generation of compassionate leaders. Please welcome Danny Banks to accept this grant on behalf of youth-led justice.
Thank you so much, Sophia. Thank you all for coming. At the start of this process, we were the Maine Youth Court, and we had been the Maine Youth Court for many years. Today, we're called Youth-Led Justice. We're also marking our 10th year of service to Maine's communities, like here in Brunswick. We are planning for our future. We are becoming a 501c3, which is not very exciting for most of us, but it's exciting for us and some of us in the room. It's a big planning year for youth-led justice and a celebration. However, a lot of our work can seem like not much is going on because on paper, it's just a lot of talking. And what we do is we talk with, we set up connections between youth in trouble and volunteers in the community, peer volunteers, and facilitate restorative processes where they are able to take accountability, make amends, create restorative plans, and end up avoiding cascading effects of effects on their records as juveniles. We believe in the power of talking, and we're really glad that you all do. Thank you so much for supporting us. We also want to quickly thank Monica Bouillet, who formerly worked at the Maine Youth Court, and you all now have her at the McKean Center. It's wonderful. And I also want to say, if I had to start this over to all the students, my name is Danny. I use he, him pronouns. At one point in time, I was a senior majoring in art history at Bowdoin. And for all of you who worked on this project, I'm telling you, you have a real skill. This is a real skill, and I really encourage you to use it for the betterment of your communities wherever you go. Thanks so much.
I would like to invite Kira to present the next.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kira. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm first year here at Bowdoin studying government and Asian studies. And I'm pleased to present Midcoast Youth Center with the grant. Midcoast Youth Center has been an integral part of the Midcoast Maine community since 2016. Over the course of the past 6 years, it has grown from 34 members to a base of nearly 75 people from 34 different organizations, and has worked tirelessly to provide a range of programs and services to improve the lives of youth and advocate for young people experiencing homelessness. Through the Midcoast Youth Center, kids are able to obtain free food, clothing, and toiletries. The center runs an after-school program and also works to provide critical outreach services to at-risk youth, where they receive assistance in accessing food, healthcare, clothing, and shelter. Their services extend to anyone from elementary schoolers to youth up to the age of 24. In large part due to the ongoing COVID pandemic, Midcoast Youth Center has seen a sharp increase in the populations they serve, highlighting just how critical their work is in the Midcoast Maine community. They are serving a record high number of homeless youth this year and have provided distance learning support to nearly 50 middle and high schoolers. With this Common Good grant, Midcoast Youth Center will continue to provide essential items for youth experiencing homelessness in Saginaw County, Brunswick, and Harpswell. In continuing to provide these essentials, they will continue to help provide stability to vulnerable young people and help them achieve long-term wellness and success. The support that Midcoast Youth Center provides comes at a critical time and is a vital factor in contributing to empowerment, equality, and well-being in Midcoast Maine for years to come. I'd like to invite Thomas Dodge from Midcoast Youth Center to accept this grant on behalf of Midcoast Youth Center and to say a few words.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, you guys really did summarize very well, so I'll cut my speech down 25 minutes. Sit back. So I'm Thomas Dodge. I'm the general manager at the Midcoast Youth Center and Skate Park in Bath, where we run a very busy youth center to kids who come in every day after school and oftentimes stay right from 1:55 or 2 till 6 o'clock or 7 when we close, where they can access food, emergency clothing, supplies, personal care items, things like that, and be connected to all kinds of other resources in the community. So this grant is going to help us serve those kids experiencing homelessness through our Merry Meetings Support Collaborative for youth experiencing homelessness. We provide stability to kids who are homeless or temporarily homeless through a regional network of support, which helps increase student school attendance, academic success, while also supporting social emotional health. Currently, our youth outreach coordinator, Donna Verhoeven, and her assistant, Katie Ramirez, have a caseload of about 63 youth in Saginaw County, Brunswick, and Harpswell, currently experiencing homelessness. And they are just so dedicated. They're there every single day, weekends. They give rides to any of these kids who need a ride and help find them more suitable, stable housing and supports. So that's what we're going to use this grant for. We're so thankful for all the work you guys have put into this. The student committee, thank you for considering us and helping strengthen our community bonds. I think it's great to have initiatives like this, working with community building organizations. That's how we build the future we want to see, the society we want to see, and the society the kids need. So thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I'd now like to introduce Jared to present the next award.
Hello, my name is Jared. I'm a sophomore majoring in biology, molecular and cell biology. I'm here tonight to present an award to the New England Arab American Association, the NEAAO, which I had the wonderful opportunity of visiting last month for my site visit. So the NEAAO was founded in 2016 by Zoe Zalour with the intent of helping Maine's Arab immigrant population to allow them to integrate into this new cultural environment. And since just 6 years since their inception, they've become an invaluable resource to the Arab community, providing a multitude of programs from parenting groups to English courses. They currently serve the town of Westbrook, which has seen a recent increase in Arab immigrants due to factors like the rising cost of living in nearby towns like Portland, but they hope to expand their reach in the coming years to become even more accessible and to become an even greater asset for these Arab communities. The reason we're here tonight is because we want to fund one of their programs called Trash to Treasure. This is going to be a program carried out by their youth high school program for a leadership program for BIPOC high schoolers. And this will involve sourcing trash from local cleanup initiatives, as well as from their own homes, and use it to synthesize a series of art exhibits that will be displayed here at Bowdoin. And on the surface, you can see that this could provide a very interesting visual representation of the trash we go through on a weekly or even daily basis. But dig a little deeper and you'll see that this represents the voices, the ideas of the students that create it. It's an art piece with a story, and this allows students, BIPOC students with minority backgrounds, to express the themes that are important to them, from social diversity to inequities. Ultimately, this project of sustainability of art will be an invaluable resource for students to admire and to discuss on campus in the coming years. And so I'm very, very excited to see this take off later this year. And with that, I would like to welcome Zoe to accept this award.
Hello, everyone. My name is Zoe Salul, and I'm the founder and the executive director of New England Arab American Organization. Thank you, Jared, for visiting us in our office in Westbrook. NEO, New England Arab American Organization, presently serves over 500 families. We reach all the way to Augusta and Bangor. We help 1,200 members of our community. So thank you for this wonderful grant that will allow us to really fulfill our mission, which is bridging the gap between culture. And this is an additional gap that we would like our youth to really experience, where to have the opportunity for a cross-cultural communication or connections with Bowdoin College students, with being able to have a voice through art, through utilizing trash, which is like they raised a big concern about the environment. So something that was so dear to their heart is that for them to be able to recreate that and help out the environment and be able to share that in a beautiful picture that people will come and visit. Definitely we're going to utilize also an artist from the community to be able to create these sculptures or these movement or sculptures that will be moving, we're hoping in the future, even beyond Brunswick and beyond Bowdoin. But thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for this award. And we appreciate it.
Now I'd like to welcome Marco to present the next award.
Hi, everyone. My name is Marco Stix. I use he, him pronouns. I'm a first year planning a major in math and economics. I wanted to start by thanking our donors, recipients, and Common Good Grant leaders for maintaining their commitment to the Mid-Coast community during such a challenging time this past year. I have the honor of presenting Oasis Free Clinics with a grant. Oasis is a nonprofit, no-cost primary care medical practice and dental clinic that provides exceptional patient-centered care to uninsured members of our community. Founded in 1995, Oasis was initially a clinic devoted to caring for the homeless in the Thetford Oasis shelter in Brunswick. Oasis now provides close to $1 million in free medications each year. This grant will be used to purchase an instrument to detect diabetic eye disorder, blood pressure monitors, cordless handpiece to use for dental procedures, and an evacuator system to reduce airborne particles. The Common Good Grant Committee had the opportunity to meet with Oasis's executive director, Ms. Anita Ruff. This meeting demonstrated the continued need of medical and dental care within the community and Oasis's commitment to providing this care. We're so happy to present the award to Anita Ruff and invite her to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. So Oasis was actually founded by a Bowdoin graduate, Dr. Peter McGuire. So it's really no surprise actually that we are infused with the common good at Oasis. And we actually have 3 members of your Bowdoin alumni on our board and 2 members of your staff on our board of directors. So that we got the Common Good Grant this year is just icing on the cake for us, because this is what we are about at Oasis, the service. And so while I'm listening to all of my fellow awardees talk about the programs that they're doing, and I think about we're buying hand pieces for dental procedures and a retinopathy tool, so very practical things we're going to be using our funds for. Please know that what you're doing is reducing transportation costs for our patients so that they don't have to have additional visits to specialty care. We're going to be able to do some visits in our office that we haven't been able to do. And then we're also continuing to create a safe work environment for our volunteers and our staff in the middle of a continuing pandemic. And so I just want to thank all of you students and donors and community members for investing in us and continuing on the common good spirit in our little office here in town. So thank you very much.
I'd like to introduce Jane to speak next.
Hello, my name is Jane Hirschman and I use she, her pronouns. I'm a sophomore majoring in government and environmental studies, and I'm excited to present Sexual Assault Support Services of Midcoast, Maine with a grant this year. SASM was founded in 1983 and is dedicated to the advocacy for those affected by sexual violence, as well as prevention of sexual violence through education and outreach. They provide training to educators on their K-5 prevention education curriculum that helps educators learn more about sexual abuse prevention. Additionally, they offer educational programming to elementary and middle schoolers consisting of 2 lessons per grade for elementary schoolers and 6 total lessons for middle schoolers. This work is important in helping to prevent sexual violence in the future. SASM will use this grant money to further their goals of preventing sexual violence through education in grades K through 8. Through this grant, SASM will be purchasing books, space bubbles, and other supplies to support their own teaching in schools and to provide for K-5 educators who also teach their curriculum. Additionally, these funds will go towards the printing expenses for middle school handouts and Zoom closed captioning to make their online training for educators even more accessible. We are proud to be supporting SASM and the important work that they are doing in Midcoast, Maine. A representative from SASM could not join us this evening, but Ariane Clements provided the following statement on behalf of the organization. Sexual Assault Support Services of Midcoast, Maine, established in 1983, is dedicated to providing advocacy and support to survivors, families, and concerned others affected by sexual assault, sexual abuse, and sexual harassment. We offer services to improve awareness and response to sexual violence throughout Eastern Cumberland, Lincoln, Sagadahoc, Knox, and Waldo counties. SASM is grateful to receive a Common Good grant this year to support our prevention education team to purchase and provide supplies to area teachers in our communities who will begin implementing SASM's sexual violence prevention education curriculum for grades K through 8. Congratulations to SASM on their award. And I would like to welcome Amelia to present the next award.
Hi, everyone. I'm Amelia. I'm a senior, so my days here are numbered, 24 to be exact, but I'm really happy to be, I know, in this beautiful space with you. And I'm even more excited to be presenting an award to Sunlight Media Collective, which is the only media organization covering issues of environmental protection from a predominantly Wabanaki perspective. Sunlight Media Collective organizes events and provides video and written news coverage of environmental threats to the Wabanaki communities and their homelands that affect each and every one of us. Their activism and the content they produce seeks to address the lack of public understanding surrounding Native issues that creates a barrier to the Wabanaki tribe's environmental health, cultural survival, and sovereignty. So I would really recommend everyone check out their website and a few of their amazing videos. They have a ton of different environmental issues they cover, and then a lot of them are pretty short. So I also wanted to congratulate the collective on its recent work in getting tribal sovereignty bills passed in the Maine legislature. And then this funding we are awarding them will help continue this incredible work and other ongoing environmental problems that they're going to cover, including the Sapayak drinking water crisis, Penobscot River court case, and the Juniper Ridge landfill pollution. A representative from Sunlight Media Collective could not join us this evening, but Joanna Weaver provided the following statement on behalf of the organization. We at Sunlight Media Collective are honored to be one of the many deserving groups recognized and supported by the Joseph McKean Center for the Common Good. Financial support is an act of solidarity. Thank you so much for your generous support of our continued work amplifying the voices of the Wabanaki people and their stewardship of the Dawn land. Waliwan, Waliwoni, Walin, Wiliwini, thank you. Congrats to the Sunlight Media Collective on their award. I would like to invite Charlotte to give the next award.
Hi, my name is Charlotte. I use she, her pronouns, and I am a sophomore studying computer science with a minor in English. I am very happy to present Wabanaki Public Health and Wellness with the Common Good Grant. Established in 1996, Wabanaki Public Health and Wellness provides community-driven, culturally centered public health and social services to Wabanaki and Indigenous individuals across Maine. Wabanaki Public Health and Wellness provides many programs and resources through their 3 departments: Wabanaki Public Health, Wabanaki Health and Wellness, and Wabanaki Healing and Recovery. The Wabanaki Healing and Recovery Department was newly added 2 years ago to offer support to people with substance use disorder and mental health struggles. In late 2021, Wabanaki Public Health and Wellness opened the Center for Wabanaki Healing and Recovery, which includes the Healing Lodge, which provides outpatient mental health and substance abuse recovery treatments, the Gathering Place, which is an indoor-outdoor venue for community events, and recovery homes for transitional housing for people receiving recovery services. The Common Good Grant will go towards WPHW's Waikochem Tilteen, or Helping All program. This program provides additional support for individuals living in the recovery homes. The Helping All program aims to support the whole person, both during and after recovery treatment. Each individual in the program will receive direct case management to create a cultural healing path, recovery plan, and an employment, volunteer, or education plan. Additionally, all participants have the first 2 months of residency in the recovery homes free. The Helping All program provides critical holistic care that is too often inaccessible. A representative from the Wabanaki Health and Wellness could not join us in person this evening, but Jess Fabricant sent this message on behalf of the organization. Wabanaki Health and Wellness is extremely grateful for this award. These funds will support individuals participating in healing and recovery services by enhancing the Waikochem Tilteen Helping All program. This program provides additional supports to those entering recovery homes to assist with their transition. Examples include rent assistance, identifying employment and economic goals, and connecting to culture and community. Wabanaki Public Health and Wellness is deeply appreciative of the support for this program. We thank you, Wooly Wan. Please join me in congratulating Wabanaki Public Health and Wellness. And please welcome Tom back to the podium to close this year's wonderful Common Good Grant ceremony.
Hello again, everyone. It was a little while since I've talked to you. I'm actually speaking to you now on behalf of Sarah Seams, the McKean Center's director. Sarah lost her voice earlier today, and so we figured that with needing to project up here at the podium, that it was better that I give the final remarks. So first, I just want to give a big round of applause to all of our awardees and the incredible work that they're going to be doing. So, and then I want to thank our committee. Hopefully for all of you here, you've seen the incredible thought and dedication that went into running the grant selection and evaluation process this year. I think to me, every time I look through these speeches, but like when I'm sitting in here and listening to these speeches, you really hear how much the committee members looked into every single organization and how thoroughly they understand the work that these organizations do. So I just want to thank them because it has definitely been a roller coaster year here on campus, and they were here every Wednesday, every week, always putting in the work outside of those Wednesdays with our site visits, with reading all of the letters of intent and all of the grants and communicating with all the donors. And I think I always love this night because their work becomes so apparent and so concrete when we're all here gathered together. So I'd love to give a big round of applause again to the whole committee. So I think that is pretty much it for us. I just want to say once again that I'm so appreciative for all of you, those of you who are joining us virtually, but also those of you who are here in person. This is our first in-person Common Good Grant Award ceremony since April of 2019. So it's been a little while, and it's so good to get the community back here and see that so many people are so interested in contributing to the professional development and aspirations of our students, but also to the wonderful good that all of these community nonprofits are doing throughout the state of Maine. So thank you to all of you for making that happen. And before I close for good, I just want to tell the committee that please stick around afterwards, all committee members. There's a couple last things we need to do just with you, but for everyone else, feel free to help yourself to a few more desserts. And thank you again for coming, and hopefully we'll see many of you next year and in future years with the Common Good Grant Program. So thank you again.